in the World Cup. I think it was the first time for both teams to be in the World Cup final, and I think Spain thoroughly deserved it, Paul. I think, in the preview, we mentioned that England attacked the pace and the power of England, particularly after the Australia result, the way how the level of English performance went up from, say, the Nigeria and Colombia games, went up an awful lot against Australia. But I think England put the best performance in the semi-final because a lot of people have said that England haven't played as well as they can to get to the World Cup final. That's fair going in itself. But I felt Spain, technically, they looked far superior yesterday to England in terms of the way they kept the possession, the chances they created, and the way they played the game. And I think it was a thoroughly deserved win. I think England might have sneaked extra time with one or two chances. I think Lauren James had their best chance, I think, around the 70th, 75th minute, just after the penalty was saved. We'll get into that in a minute. But if you ask me who asked me the result, it's a fair result. I think Spain could and probably should have won by more. But Spain definitely thoroughly deserved to be World Cup champions. And I think the way they played the game, I think they played the best football. I think maybe I'm not up to the question. They probably scored the most goals as well. They hammered Switzerland 5-1, and I think they played the Netherlands and they came through Sweden. So they have had the harder side of the draw, if you get me. So I think they played very, very well. They've lost one game, and they've recovered very well from the Japan loss. So I think overall in the whole tournament, I think they played the best football. And I think they thoroughly deserve to be World Cup champions.
So they got the goal in the first half. Can you describe the goal? Because they were 1-0 up at half time.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake from Lucy Bronze. Lucy Bronze is the right back. She came in field a little bit. She went on a bit of a run, but she got crowded out by the Spanish defence. They just pounced on her. She lost around the centre circle, and good ball out the wing. And then there was out towards the wing. And then I forget who the Spanish passed it, but there was an overlap from the left back, Carmona. She's the captain. She got the winner against Sweden as well. The Spanish player plays a beautiful ball. She's on the run, and she drills into the bottom to the Mary Earp's left, into the bottom right hand corner from the camera angle. I think it was a very, very good goal. I think Alicia Russo had about a 5-yard head start on her, but she just didn't see her. She just creeped up behind her. She just went on the full blast. I think it's a very good shot, very low, kept it low, very controlled finish. And I think it was a very, very well taken goal. And I think the goal was coming, Paul, to be quite honest, because I know England hit the crossbar about, I think it was over the 15th minute. But from there on, I think Spain, they played very, very well. Had a very good chance, just I think about 10 minutes in or even less, where they should have scored, where one player missed the ball as they crossed in. And I think another player hit it straight at Mary Earps. But I think the way Spain played the game, they hit the post near the end of the first half as well. So they were well on top in that first half. England were lucky, you could say, you're going in 1-0 down.
Yeah.
But I think
Noel. We all know the way the Spanish men's team play. We all know the underage teams, even a lot of the Spanish club teams play this kind of possession game and control game, and then they can go from slow to very fast in a matter of seconds. So, what's the style of the women's team? Is it much the same, or
it's much the same, Paul. But I think they played a little bit faster. They played a little bit quicker, because sometimes, England teams, particularly with the men's team, you always have. I know maybe the step England had, they probably have more belief in themselves that normally when it's Spanish international team plays, the team that the opposition have a low block. That means like 2 banks of 4 where they crowd out the midfield and they try and force them out wide. But this Spanish team is very comfortable on the ball. They play it at a faster pace. I would nearly say than the men's. Now, no, men's football and women's football is just.
That's two different. I think just before you go on, Noel, sorry, Noel, for cutting across you. People are comparing. Look, it's the same sport, but the men and women are different. Let's be clear. So they should just treat the women, in my opinion, treat it on its own merits, good, better, and different, not to be compared.
Yeah.
And that applies to all sports in fairness.
I think that's true. That's the way it should be. I think treat the women's football against other teams, not always compared to the men. There's always this battle I feel between men and women in terms of sports. I don't think there's any need for that. I mean, play the best teams in your own category, and then
and walk away. Yeah, so drive on with the style again. Continue. Sorry for cutting.
I think the style is very good. I mean, very technical, very technical like the men's. But I find that the women's play a little bit quicker pace, shall we say, a little bit. I think the way that that's maybe because of the opposition as well. Let's be fair, maybe England have a bit more belief, and they push up a little bit more. But They press the English defence as well. They do a lot of characteristics that the men's team do as well. But I actually find them a little bit easier on in terms of possession and move a little bit quicker. And I just think that the Spanish team over the course of the World Cup play the best football and are deserving World Cup champions at the moment. England.
Can we move on in? Can you describe the second half team? Did England go back into this, or did Spain dominate? You mentioned the penalty area. Just can you describe the second half, how it panned out?
Yeah. Spain. There was only a couple of chances really England had. Spain just kept the ball, and England didn't try to. The more England, the possession stakes was not as much as people thought. I think it was more 70% of the ball Spain had in the first half, but then in the second half it evened itself out. But the more England tried to attack, the more Spain hit them on the counter attack, and there was a point where in the second half, Spain were on the attack, but there was a ball cut back, a sort of miscontrol by the Spanish player, but Keira Walsh sort of leaned towards the ball. I think it is a penalty. It's harshed up. I think the rules these days of how a handball can be. I mean, I've seen penalties given for less, as we say, but if you go back to old ways, I think it can be sort of harsh.
Yeah.
But the VAR called over the referee. The referee struck a time now. I mean, between the time that the incident happened and the time when it was given, it was only 4 minutes. So it did.
But again, Noel, let's just come back to my point. In all sports, people tell me that technology will speed up the game. Absolute rubbish. I completely disagree with it. That's a perfect example where the technology slows down the game. If that was in real time with no technology, the referee would make the decision in 10 seconds, penalty or not.
Well, the trouble was, Paul, that the referee had a good angle of the instance. She was right in front of it. And there was appeals straight away. Like, even before, like, the Spanish player was nearly, I wouldn't say she was in on goal because there was an English defender in front of her. But the minute it happened, she put up the hand, and then England had managed to scramble it away for a corner. But there was protests straight after that ball went out of play as well. So I thought there's going to have to be a check here. And I think personally it was a penalty to go back at this, because I do think she sort of leans in a bit towards the ball. It's a very slight bit, but if that doesn't hit her hand, I think the Spanish player has a clean connection and a shot on goal if she doesn't do it. So she sort of impedes the movement.
But of course, no, there is such a thing as an indirect free kick as well. People never talk about that now. There can be an indirect free kick given inside in the penalty area as well. So every foul in the penalty area is not a penalty.
Oh yeah, I totally accept that, and sometimes people are very quick to call for penalties as well, like opposition order or opposition order team.
I wouldn't blame them for that.
Oh yes, that's it. But just on the
penalty team, can you describe it? The English goalie saved it, did you?
She did, yeah, she did. Well, there was a bit of housery from Lucy Bronze. I'm not going to say the full word of it now, but the penalty was given anyway, and there was arguments about whether the ball was on the spot. And then Lucy Bronze went into to get into the heads of the Spanish players, and there was a whole not pushing and shoving, but there was a lot of angry.
Yeah, you know each other. We'll use that term.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, but to be fair though, people say, "Oh, they're Stephen Bronze doing that." Look, if that was my team, I'm 1-0 down. We're getting outplayed. It goes 2-0. We're out. We're out. We're losing the game.
Yeah.
So I could totally understand why they do it, because listen, I could see England getting 1 goal, but I couldn't see them getting 2 goals. So I think you have to do whatever you have to do. Look, Martinez did this in the World Cup in Argentina. When the ball was like when the French player, and I don't know if you remember, Paul, the French players were coming out to take the penalties, he threw the ball away just to get into their heads. No, it's up to the he got booked, but it's up to the referees to sort that out and make sure that he doesn't have access.
Yeah, but so go back in. So the English goalie made a good save. Normally you would think that would push England on, kind of boost them up when the goalie keeps them in the game. So did England push on? Did they on in the game?
They did.
How did Spain see it out?
They sort of gave him a massive lift, and the crowd got a massive lift over. But just a couple minutes after that, though, any momentum England had, there was a moment where an English player actually went down. I think it's Greenwood. She went down and was like she had to get a bandage on her head. It looked like she was going to be knocked out for a while, and there was blood spilling from. So that sort of killed the game for another 5 minutes, if you get me, Paul. Yeah. Sure, at the end of the game, Paul, there was 13 minutes at a time.
I was watching that right. I was thinking there was something up. I didn't know why.
Yeah, it completely dragged on. Now, to be fair, in the added time, Spain had 2 or 3 big chances because England were pushing on, trying to get
naturally enough.
naturally enough. And to be honest with you, Paul, at the end of the game, other than the Lauren James chance, I know Lauren James was on the bench when she came on. She tried to make a bit of a difference, Chloe Kelly as well. But England made 3 subs. I think they did as much as they could, but on the day, England just weren't at it, I feel.
Yeah.
And Spain had numerous chances, I think, in the second half and at the time. I think if there was any team that was going to score, it was probably going to be Spain.
Yeah.
England got a corner in the last play, and unfortunately for England, the ball was, I wouldn't say it was overhit, but the goalkeeper was able to calmly claim it. It was 13 minutes were up, and
no, I was just thinking. Sorry, Noel. I was just thinking England would have paid any money to have Katie McCabe, the corner she got when she scored directly for Canada. Yeah. If she had done that.
No, it's right. But just to note too, Paul, it's just Carmona, the goal scorer for Spain. There was a bit of sad news right after the game. The Spanish Federation had announced that Arcelia Alfaro had passed away. Now, the thing that happened was that I just actually read that before I came talking to you, that sadly Alfaro passed away on Friday. So, but the family kept us. Family wanted her just to focus on the game, and I'm sure her father would be very proud of her today after scoring the goal in the World Cup. So it's just a little bit. There was a little bit of sad news there just after the final.
Yeah. So sorry, Noel. Just to finish up, then. So would you say, in the overall tournament, would you say Spain was the best team and deserved to win it all the way through? You mentioned with the goals, the score, and it was just also a quick word. Just the final word in the World Cup tournament. You said you think it was a success.
Yeah, I think Spain played the best football. They were the best. They're the best team. They only lost one game, but that was a group game. I think they recovered well from that. The hammering they got Japan 4-0. There's a lot of controversy over the manager. Both players have left the squad, but he's made them World Cup champions.
Yeah.
He was involved in celebrations and stuff like that. So now what's going to happen after that, we don't know. But he's done a fantastic job with them. Whatever the issues are, we don't know all the issues. No, Paul, to be fair, we're only going what we heard. But yeah, it's very, very well coached, very well managed, and very, very good team from good young players as well, and great style of play and deserving champions. The overall picture of the World Cup, it was great to have an Irish team at the World Cup. It's 21 years since the men's got there. We haven't seen an Irish team in the World Cup since 2002, as I said. Men or women's, it's the first time women's has got there. We're hoping now this will put on progress into the Euros and further World Cups. I think, between getting over nearly 80,000 at the opening game, I think Australia and New Zealand have been great hosts. I think it was great to see Australia do the interest now in women's football in Australia and New Zealand will just go skyrocket now after this. So overall, great tournaments, and we look forward to the next one in 4 years' time.
Yeah, I suppose they always say through these tournaments, like traditionally, the United States and Germany would be always in the top 3 or 4. Germany failed to run knocked out in the group stage. US were beaten in the last 16. So new teams like Colombia came through, Nigeria. I have to be honest, I knew nothing about them. That's maybe my fault. But so a number of new teams coming through. Spain, first time winners. England, first time finals. So again, in terms of it's no good just having the same 2 or 3 teams winning the whole time.
No, not at all, Paul. I think this has shown that if you invest in women's football in certain countries, like even Jamaica, I think Jamaica had to fundraise a lot for their own teams, and I think this now will show. Look, I think even the manager says they'll cut the rubbish. He says, I'm not going to say the words he actually used, but we need investment in women's football. Look what we're producing, and to be fair, Paul, you know what you mean about the battle between men and women's football. I always feel that the people that are getting to tournaments, getting on the world stage, like for example in America, there was always this battle between America and the men's and women's team. But to be fair, the women's team were winning World Cups, bringing the money in. So it's always about I always feel that whoever's performing on the pitch should be getting the funds and the awards.
Well, don't you know? I disagree with you on that point. Ultimately, all professional sports, it's about the money, and the money, as you know, we know with the Premiership, the money is created through the TV audience, the merchandising, and the amount of people who go to the matches. So, and that's the way it should be. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, all I would say is that whoever's performing, whoever's bringing the money in, I would always say say for example, the US. If you look at the US, the women's are performing. They've won 3 World Cups or something like that. 2 the last 2 before this one.
Yeah.
So I just feel that if you're doing like as we're saying, it's just I'm saying that some funding should be getting in there, because if you're performing on the pitch, you should be at least getting some lot of funding compared to what your others are getting. But I take a point on that as well. But no, I think ourselves now, we're going to get on to the next podcast about Ireland and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's all about growing the game and managing what we can do. But as you said, to finish up, great World Cup, and we look forward to the Euros in two years' time.
Okay, no, I stay